This is Top 30. Coming up, the dangers of legalizing marijuana. Giving up coffee can make you rich. And these electric cars are making surgery much less scary for kids. Hi there, welcome to the show. I'm Kristen Smith, and here are 30 things you need to know right now. Millions of Americans dream of striking it rich with a lucky Lotto ticket, but reality is often very different from fantasy. The average American spends about $207 a year on Lotto tickets. That's despite the fact that the odds of winning Mega Millions are 1 in over 302 million. You have a better chance of becoming president. One financial advisor told Business Insider that hitting the jackpot throws winners into the honeymoon stage of sudden wealth and called it an unsustainable high. Some winners complained that after their name got out, they were taken advantage of by family and friends or thieves. Jack Whitaker hit a $315 million jackpot in West Virginia. He was later robbed of over $500,000. Others blow all the money on extravagant purchases like cars and homes. Lotto winners have an increased risk of bankruptcy. That's why financial experts recommend setting goals and building a strategy. They also say to build a team, including a lawyer, tax specialist, and financial advisor. They also recommend, if possible, staying anonymous. Let's go to Danielle Knox from Fox 35 Orlando now. She has what you need to know today. So Danielle, I feel like most parents learn this the hard way. Childcare is more expensive than you think.
Hi, Kristen. Well, this is amazing. Childcare Aware of America says parents all across the country spend nearly $10,000 a year on childcare. And so that means parents are spending more than 10% of their income. And single parents are hit the hardest with nearly 40% of their paycheck going to childcare. If you have arthritis in the knee, don't be scared to get out there and pound the pavement. Now, of course, it can be difficult to get past the pain and the fear that you might be doing more damage to the joint, but researchers say it could lower the chance of needing a knee replacement surgery in the future. In fact, according to the study out of the University of Delaware, it doesn't even have to be a long walk. Just adding a brisk 5-minute walk per day can lower the odds of surgery. And forget lavender. Ladies who need to unwind may benefit from, well, sniffing their partner's dirty shirt. All right, stay with me here on this one. A new study out of Stockholm University in Sweden found women suffering from stress were better able to cope after sniffing a T-shirt worn by their significant other. Now, but there's a catch. The shirt sniffing benefit was only found in women in secure and happy relationships. The study, published in the journal Physiology Behavior, confirms the findings of a similar study released earlier this year by researchers at the University of British Columbia. And that's what you need to know. But Kristen, there is no word on whether or not that works in reverse. So let's say we give our hubbies our shirts. Are they going to be less stressed? Back to you.
Well, that's certainly interesting to think about. Great story. Thanks, Danielle. Well, the retail apocalypse is still going strong. Nearly 4,000 more stores are expected to close across the U.S. this year. But not all brands are in danger, according to the Future Brand Index. They looked at the world's most future-proof companies since the Great Recession and found that the following are some of the strongest: the Walt Disney Company, Netflix, Nike, Samsung, Amazon, Toyota, and Nestle. Future Brand says the most future-proofed companies are not defined by their age, their sector, their tech or data savviness, but by their ability to consistently align the totality of the experiences they create with their wider corporate purpose. You never know what the future holds, but some companies are definitely more likely to survive than others. Now let's talk about a new survey which reveals the social media apps that are most popular with teens. For the first time ever, Instagram has edged out Snapchat as the most used app, according to a report by investment firm Piper Jaffray. 85% of teens use the platform at least once a month, just ahead of 84% for Snapchat. 47% of teenagers use Twitter once a month. The research also shows more teens are leaving Facebook all the time. Just over a third visit the app once a month, down from more than half at the same time 2 years ago. An unpopular redesign earlier this year has been blamed for Snapchat's drop in popularity. At the same time, Instagram has added features similar to ones on Snapchat, like stories and self-destructing photos and videos. The platform is also popular with another group, marketers. More teens prefer being contacted by brands on Instagram than anywhere else. At the same time, teens in the survey said Facebook was their least favorite way to receive marketing, just behind direct mail. Okay, several studies have concluded, perhaps unsurprisingly, that states who have legalized recreational marijuana have seen an increase in car accidents. In Washington, Oregon, and Colorado, crashes were up as much as 6% compared to neighboring states without legalized weed. Another study came up with similar results, finding that police-reported accidents went up 5.2% in states with legalized weed compared to before it was legal. Research has shown that being under the influence of marijuana slows the thinking and perceptual skills of drivers. And when tested using simulators, drivers who used weed tended to weave more. The National Transportation Safety Board chairman said law enforcement needs additional tools and advanced training to detect impaired drivers before they crash, regardless of the impairing drug they're using. Right now, there are no standardized tests for weed-impaired drivers like there are for alcohol. In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 10 Phoenix, taking an estimated 630,000 lives every year, heart disease has become a grave concern in the U.S. But now a tiny device is hoping to change that big statistic. Being used at the Abrazo, Arizona Heart Hospital in Phoenix, the micro pacemaker is the smallest pacemaker in the world. And because of its size, it's far less invasive than the generic pacemaker with less complications. Ruth Ann Elms was the first patient to receive the micro pacemaker at the hospital.
It was fantastic. It just, I knew I had it, but no recovery. I just got up the next morning, had a cup of coffee.
A great example of how technology, no matter how small, is solving some of the world's biggest problems. In our next story from Fox 13 Tampa Bay, Kendra McGranville is one of the many who has learned about tools and how to use them as a part of the Women Building Futures construction class. And the class has given Kendra and her peers more than just a job.
So it's given me more encouragement to move forward and get my general contractor license.
A program building brighter futures using the most powerful tool of all, knowledge. And in our final story from Fox 29 Philadelphia, even when she was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, Andy Seeley has maintained her infectious, positive attitude. She's using her challenges to help inspire others to do what they can to better prevent and treat breast cancer. And now she's teamed up with Raylene Arcode.
She wanted to help me, and in turn, I knew that she wanted to help more people, so why not have me help her help more people?
Keep It Clean with Raylene cleans the homes of patients, all free of charge, in order to give them the peace of mind they need to focus on getting better and beating the disease. Stay with us. We have more things you need to know coming right up. Welcome back. We've all experienced the nerves that come when facing a job interview and the questions that seem meticulously crafted to resemble tactics of the greatest FBI interrogators. Though most say they're just plain cruel, the questions really exist to paint a picture about you and if you're a fit for the job. So Ladders.com broke down some of the most frequently asked trick questions and how to best tackle them. One of the most frequent and stereotypical job interview question is, how would you describe yourself in one word? This question can be one of the hardest because with that one word, employers can easily analyze your personality type. But at the same time, you don't necessarily know what personality type the manager is looking for. So stay conservative. Stick with the trait about you that pairs best with the job. Like if it's in accounting, say something like punctual. Another basic yet complicated question is, why do you want to work here? This question shows how important the company is to you and how dedicated you are to putting in the necessary work on a daily basis. Another question is, what would you do if you won $5 million tomorrow? Your response should tell the employer everything they need to know about your motivation, work ethic, and financial responsibility. So really, the best thing you can do is prepare and stay positive. All right, moving on. Getting rich seems so hard to do, doesn't it? But it could be simpler than you think. Self-made millionaire David Bach said in a report by CNBC, regardless of the size of your paycheck, you probably already make enough money to become rich. And he suggests just getting rid of your morning coffee. He calls this the latte factor. Bach says we all throw away too much of our hard-earned money on unnecessary little expenditures without realizing how much they can add up to. The idea of the latte factor answer is if you eliminate just a $5 latte each day or any small item like a bottled water or fast food, you could contribute more to savings. And over a few decades, that number could rise exponentially. Check out this math. Say you cut out $5 a day, which is about $150 a month, and if invested, you'd have $1,885. In 10 years, you'd have over $30,000, and in 40 years, you'd have more than $900,000. Now, I love my coffee as much as the next person, but Box said the solution was simple, not easy. Let's go to Carrie Lake now from Fox 10 Phoenix. She has this week's life hacks. So Carrie, what do you got for us?
Hi, Kristen. In today's life hack, we're talking knives and tears, specifically when it comes to cutting onions. We always end up crying, right? But there's a way around that. Put the onion in the freezer for just 15 minutes, then take it out, cut it, and you won't cry. Next up, an asparagus life hack. You ever wonder why these things come with 2 rubber bands? It's so you don't have a mess in the kitchen. Slide this one down to the end, and then when you go to cut off those rough ends, they stay self-contained and they don't fly all over the kitchen floor. And finally, maybe you're on a budget or you're just trying to save a little money and you're eating a lot of Top Ramen. It's cheap and it tastes good, but did you know that potatoes are actually cheaper and more nutritious? And there's a million ways to cook them. So teach your kids a few things about making their own meals. Back to you, Kristen.
Great advice. I love it. Thanks, Carrie. All right, check this out. Unlike other apps, this one wants to stop you from buying something. Tap aims to stop people from buying plastic bottles of water. Instead, it maps about 34,000 places in over 30 countries where users can refill a reusable bottle. Some are traditional water fountains, some are in restaurants like Shake Shack and Sweetgreen. Others are in businesses like Adidas and Barry's Boot Camp. Users can narrow down search results by different criteria, like whether water is filtered or sparkling. The company spent months sourcing locations that are open to the public or allow people to come in just for free refills. Some have even signed on to the Tap Authorized Refill Network. The company's CEO said, "Water is a mispriced public good. I believe we as consumers have been robbed of our own water." Tap also hopes to cut down on plastic waste. About 1 million plastic water bottles are purchased around the world every minute. Less than 10% are recycled. Much of it piles up in oceans. Tap is available for free on Android and iOS. Okay, be honest. Whose Netflix password are you using? A new report by insurance company Country Financial suggests 74% of Americans share their digital accounts with family, friends, or even exes. Entertainment streaming services like Netflix and Hulu reigned with 47% of respondents sharing. Mobile plans and shopping accounts like Amazon Prime followed with 42% and 41% each. Burdened by record student loan debt, millennials were also prone to sharing services like Uber or Lyft. One service the survey was unable to capture was music streaming, as Spotify, Apple Music, and others actively work to make sharing difficult. But while 3/4 of respondents share their online accounts, far fewer share the financial responsibility, just 36% actually contributing to the bill. That as the average American spends $237 on these services per month. Given that price tag, financial experts suggest these costs are an easy place to start when cutting back. I guess many took that to mean using someone else's. Top 30, we'll be right back. Welcome back. E-cigarettes have officially been on the market for 10 years. So now we're finally starting to learn how they affect our health. Unfortunately, it's pretty bad news. According to scientific research from Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, e-cigs often contain toxic metals like lead, and people are inhaling dangerous amounts of them. There's also substantial evidence that daily use increases your chances of having a heart attack. And many people are simply unaware of how addicting they are until it's too late. Vaping does still appear to be healthier than smoking actual cigarettes, but you get just as much nicotine from a pod as you do from a pack. Listen to this one. A group of young people outside of Philadelphia are trying to stop violence in their community, and they've gone viral in the process. Mike Jarek from Fox 29 in Philly joins us with more. Hi, Mike.
Kristen, this group of folks is from Allentown, Pennsylvania, just north of Philadelphia. They say they're so sick and tired of losing their friends and family members to senseless violence. They say something's got to give.
Something's got to give. Children being taken from their parents. How their parents supposed to live.
There you go. There's the song. And this song has been viewed thousands and thousands of times.
So, Mike, what are they hoping to achieve with this song?
Well, the song stimulates conversation, and they're hoping that that conversation leads to action to make things better.
And we're all rooting for them. Thanks, Mike. Well, it looks like NASA is looking to have a bit of scientific fun. The astronomers recently put together a series of unofficial but very funny constellations to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Fermi Gamma Ray Telescope. The Fermi Telescope discovers gamma rays, and though invisible to humans, are only emitted by the most energetic things in the universe. Thus, they receive some very fitting names. The new constellations include a few characters from modern myths and movies. Among them are the Little Prince from the time-warping TARDIS from Doctor Who, Godzilla and his heat ray, the USS Enterprise from Star Trek, and the Hulk. They also included Thor's hammer, a Black Widow spider, the Golden Gate Bridge, and the Eiffel Tower. The Fermi Telescope has mapped about 3,000 gamma ray sources, 10 times the number known before its launch and comparable to the number of bright stars in traditional constellations. Okay, on to a shocker here. Kids who play free gambling-themed games could end up with a real gambling problem as an adolescent. In a survey of more than 10,000 Canadian kids ages 13 to 19, 12% had either played internet poker, internet slots, or social casino games on Facebook within the last 3 months. Those 12% were found to be significantly more likely to participate in gambling with real money compared to those who didn't play the free online games. The Centre for Addiction and Mental Health in Canada said it's unclear whether the kids start with free gambling and then move on to using money, or if the kids already gambling with money also seek out free games online. One of the scientists said there is evidence that social casino gaming may build excitement for gambling and encourage the transition into monetary gambling. They also said that 37 to 50% of the young people who gambled for money would be classified as having a low to moderate or high problem gambling. Pretty scary stuff. On to our trending health stories that you should know about. Many think drinking coffee after consuming alcohol will sober them up. But researchers at the Wake Forest School of Medicine call drinking both substances the perfect storm. Health experts warn that drinking caffeine at the same time as alcohol could make people think they're less drunk than they really are. That might lead them to drink even more alcohol. In a study that simulated driving, those who had caffeine with their alcohol didn't perform any better than those who were just drunk. Doctors say the only way to sober up is to let time pass. In our next story, a baby's sleep might give new parents a break, but there's another health benefit as well. Babies whose parents got training to help the newborn sleep better had a lower risk of obesity when they grew up. The findings were published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. The babies with parents that got instructions on sleep had about half the risk of becoming obese by the age of 5. One theory is that babies who sleep through the night might be consuming fewer calories because parents aren't giving them a bottle to get them back to sleep. And in our final story, the blinking lights and loud sounds in casinos might have an impact on our betting. A new study from the University of British Columbia reveals that the sights and sounds in a casino might encourage risky behavior. Participants gambled in a laboratory environment. Some of the games displayed images of money and made sounds similar to a slot machine when players won. One of the study's authors wrote, "We found that an individual's choices were less guided by the odds of winning when the casino-like audio-visual features were present." The study's authors say their findings prove those bells and whistles aren't just for show. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. A California school district is proposing a unique approach to solve one of the biggest problems worrying their teachers: housing. The San Jose Unified School District's master plan proposed closing or moving 2 schools and converting the campuses into affordable housing for teachers, staff members, and low-income families. The district held a public meeting to hear opinions on the plan, where they saw both disapproving community members and teachers in dire need of a plan. Parents and neighbors were fearful of property values declining and not having their say in the final decision. Teachers were fearful of the chance of homelessness and upset by those who were not willing to welcome them into their neighborhoods. The cost of living, especially San Jose rent, has proven to be too much for the average district teacher's budget. Superintendent Stephen McMahon told CityLab 1 in 7 teachers at the district have to be replaced each year. McMahon says the district is losing dozens due to the cost of living, and even more when they want to start a family. family. Surgery can be scary for anyone, especially kids. But one hospital has found a way to ease the anxiety. The Children's Hospital at Leicester Royal Infirmary in England has a fleet of miniature electric cars so the kids can drive themselves to the operating room. A local dealership donated the cars, which include a Range Rover, a Volvo XC90, a Jaguar F-Type, a Mini Fiat 500, an Alfa Romeo 4C, and a remote-control Land Rover Defender. Sturgis Motor Group said they donated the cars because the hospital had taken care of members of their family in the past, and they wanted to say thank you by giving back. Sounds like they're paying it forward in the best way possible. And that's the perfect way to end today's show. Thanks for watching. You can catch up on past episodes of Top 30 now on Hulu. You can also download the Top 30 mobile app and visit our website. We want to hear from you, so connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Like, follow, and subscribe to @Top30TV for interviews and exclusive web content. We'll see you next time on Top 30.